Hello, welcome to my channel StuckFiles. Today we will discuss about why it sucks to be a quarterback in a losing team in football. You wanted this since you were a kid. Backyard games where every throw was the Super Bowl. Eyes closed, pretending the crowd was roaring your name. You weren't just playing football, you were becoming the quarterback. Not a position, a symbol, the leader, the guy in control, the one with the answers. Quarterbacks aren't built like the others. They're sculpted in spotlight. They're trained to carry the weight, to speak to the press after every meltdown, to smile when the fans boo, to act like losing doesn't feel like a knife to the gut. And when you finally make it, when you finally get the jersey, the helmet, the locker with your name on it, you think the hardest part is over. But here's what no one tells you. Here's the version of the dream that no coach, no highlight reel, no draft analyst ever shows. You could be a starting quarterback and still be completely miserable, because there's nothing worse than being the quarterback on a team that just can't win. You go out there every week knowing the outcome before the kickoff. You hear the whispers from the front office. You feel the energy of a locker room that's already checked out. You shake hands with fans who smile in your face, but tweet bench him as soon as the game ends. And no matter how many hours you put in, no matter how many hits you take, no matter how hard you grind, if you're not putting wins on the board, you're just the captain of a sinking ship. They'll say you're overpaid. They'll say you were never that guy. They'll say the team needs to move in a different direction. But what they won't say is the truth. That being a quarterback on a losing team might be the loneliest job in all of sports. This is StuckFiles, and this is why it sucks to be a quarterback on a losing team. Section 1. You're the face of failure. When a football team loses, nobody cares about the context. No one cares that your offensive line is a disaster. No one talks about the dropped passes, the missed assignments, the blown coverages, or the penalties that killed momentum. The only thing they see is the quarterback, because in the NFL and even at the college level, you're not just playing the position, you're the face of the brand. That means every interception, every 3 and out, every missed opportunity has your name on it, whether it was your fault or not. Let's say your defense allows 38 points. Your team loses by 10. You throw for 340 yards, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. Still a loss. Still your fault. You walk into that post-game presser and face the same recycled questions. What went wrong? How do you bounce back? Do you feel like you let the team down? Let them down? You were the only one showing up. But it doesn't matter. You're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to call out your line or your receivers. You have to eat it, all of it, and pretend like it doesn't tear you up inside. Because if you show weakness, if you break, if you even look frustrated on camera, they'll call you selfish, soft, immature, not a leader. That's the curse of being the guy. You're supposed to take the heat like a man, but never show the burn. And the fans? They don't see a human being. They see a name on their fantasy team. They see a salary cap number. They see a draft pick they want replaced. They'll compare you to legends, as if Tom Brady never had bad games. They'll ask why you're not clutch, like clutch is some magical gene you didn't inherit. You could be doing everything right, putting up numbers, leading film sessions, fighting through injuries. But if the W column doesn't move, you become the symbol of everything that's wrong. And nothing hurts worse than knowing deep down you're playing the best football of your life and still losing. Section 2. Stats don't save you. In every other job, numbers matter. If you're productive, you're valuable. If you put up great stats, people respect your performance, even in a losing situation. But not here. Not in football. Not if you're the quarterback. You can throw for 4,000 yards. You can have a 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. You can put together game-winning drives that are crushed by missed field goals or a defense that couldn't stop a nosebleed. It doesn't matter, because once your team's record hits the bottom of the standings, those numbers get wiped clean in the court of public opinion. The media won't talk about your stats. They'll talk about your losses. They'll say you're a garbage time QB. They'll say you pad your stats when the game's already out of reach. They'll accuse you of being empty calories, impressive on paper, but IR relevant when it counts. Even when you're doing everything possible to carry your team, they'll twist it. Your 400-yard game, defense was soft. Your 4-touchdown shootout, still lost. Your efficiency, check downs, not elite. You can't win. And worst of all, your own front office starts looking at your production as a problem. Because now your contract looks expensive. Now you're too good to tank, but not good enough to save the franchise. You're stuck in purgatory. You're the guy who can't win with the roster you've got, but you're too productive to replace, too expensive to bench, too polarizing to commit to long term. They'll put a stat line on the screen that says 28 of 35, 305 yards, 3 TDs, and then say, but is he the right guy for this team? It's infuriating because you're delivering everything you were trained to do, making the right reads, executing the playbook, avoiding turnovers, trying to lead. But the win column doesn't care about context. The headlines don't give you credit for collapsing protection or wideouts who can't separate or defense ranked 30th in the league. You play perfect, still lost. And a highlight reels, they'll show your one bad throw and loop it for 24 hours because no one remembers the 300-yard game in a loss. No one posts your perfect 2-minute drive when the defense lets the opponent score in 40 seconds. No one saves clips of you adjusting protections or calling out blitzes pre-snap. You're the quarterback. You're supposed to win. And if you don't, your stats just become trivia. Section 3. The locker room shifts. At first, it's subtle. You're still the guy, still the leader, still the voice they follow when it's third and long and the game's on the line. But the longer the losses pile up, the more it starts to change. And you feel it not in the playbook or the pressers, but in the locker room. That sacred space, once full of hype, handshakes, and trust starts to go quiet when you walk in. Not because they hate you, not because you've done something wrong, but because, whether anyone says it or not, you become a symbol of something they want to forget. The record, the pain, the disappointment. And whether you're throwing 4 picks or 4 touchdowns, you're still the quarterback on a losing team. And no one wants to be reminded of that when they're taping up for week 12. You notice the line, men huddling a little tighter, but without you. The receivers start talking more with the position coach than with their QB. The defense, tired of bailing out the offense, keeps to their side of the building. It's not betrayal, it's distance. And it happens every year to every quarterback caught in this trap. You stop being the leader and start becoming that guy. The one whose pressers are ignored. The one no one backs up on social media. The one whose mistakes get replayed in the team meeting room. And no one defends you. You used to walk in and the music would cut off because you had something to say. Now you talk and the room just keeps buzzing. The worst part, you can't talk about it. You can't show you feel it. Because you're the QB, you're supposed to be unshakable, that you're supposed to say all the right things. We got to stay together. We're close. We're building something. Even when you know the building's already collapsing. You think about walking up to one of the vets and asking, do they still believe in me? But that question would be the final nail. Because if you don't believe it, why should they? So you do what every stuck quarterback does. You go to war with silence. You put your pads on. You hit the field. And you keep pretending. But deep down, you know you've already lost the room. Section 4. The coach's confidence collapses. If the locker room start whispering behind your back, the coach starts planning behind closed doors. At first, he defends you, publicly, loudly. He says things like, he's our guy. He gives us the best chance to win. It's not just on the quarterback, but then the losses keep coming, and the heat on him starts rising. Reporters question his play calling. Fans are chanting for a rebuild. The owner's asking tough questions about ticket sales and fan support. And when the coach's job is on the line, guess what's the easiest change to make? Not the offensive coordinator, not the outdated scheme, not the GM, you. Because the quarterback is the most visible, most polarizing piece on the board. And sometimes throwing the QB under the bus buys the coach just enough time to save himself. You feel it before it's official. You see the body language shift on the sideline, the arms crossed, the head set slam after an incompletion. You notice the play calling gets more conservative, like he's trying to minimize your role, not maximize it. You hear in the way he says your name in post-game interviews, flat, robotic, like he's reading a script he doesn't believe in anymore. And then one Monday morning, you're watching film, and the first team reps go to someone else. They don't even say your name. No conversación, no warning. Just move down the depth chart, quietly, coldly, because coaches don't bench quarterbacks. They phase them out. First they say they're just giving the backup more reps. Then they name him the starter for now. Then they say, we're evaluating everything. And just like that, you're out. Not because you weren't trying, not because you couldn't play, but because someone needed to be the sacrifice. You became the easiest piece to replace, even if you were never the problem to begin with. That's the cruelest part. You're the one guy who kept showing up, who took the blame, who played through injury, who stayed professional. And now you're watching the offense you bled for handed to someone else, just so the coach could buy another 4 weeks of breathing room. It's not about loyalty. It's not about development. It's not even about football anymore. It's about job security. And when it comes down to that, coaches do what they've always done. They cut the captain to keep the ship afloat. Section 5. When the dream becomes a job. There's a moment, and if you're a quarterback on a losing team, you know it well, when this stops being a dream and starts becoming just a job. It doesn't happen all at once. It creeps in after that 7th loss. After the booze at home games become routine. After the film sessions feel like courtrooms and the playbook feels like a maze you're just trying to survive in. You stop thinking about winning and start thinking about not messing up. You used to play to dominate. Now you're just trying to make it through another week without getting benched, blamed, or broken. You still show up early, still lift, still study tape. But that spark, that electricity in your gut, it's gone. You walk past kids in your jersey, and all you can think about is how many tweets are calling you a bust. You do media interviews and smile through your teeth, knowing the host is already prepping questions for your replacement. And at night, you play everything. That third down you missed. That red zone check down you maybe should have risked. That one pick that flipped the game, even when it's not your fault. You carry it like it is not. Because when you're a quarterback on a losing team, your job isn't just to play football, it's to absorb pain. You're the emotional sponge for an entire franchise. You carry the expectations of coaches, teammates, fans, owners, and media. You lose one game, and it's your legacy on trial. You win a game, it's just too little, too late. And the hardest part of all is realizing this dream you fought so hard for doesn't feel like a dream anymore. It feels like a prison, where every week you line up to get judged, mocked, and discarded. You're not building a Hall of Fame case. You're not chasing a ring. You're just trying to make it through another Sunday without your name trending for the wrong reasons. You still love the game, but the love feels one-sided, and you start to wonder, if I wasn't wearing this jersey, would anybody even care? That's when it hits you. You're not the star of a movie anymore. You're not the golden boy, that you're not even the villain. You're just an other quarterback trying to survive in a league that only values winners. As we deeply discussed everything in all 5 sections. So now you know you played the game, but it played you back. You still suit up, still show up, still give the cameras the sound bites they want. Because you're a pro. Because that's what quarterbacks do. But deep down, you know some things changed. This isn't about rings anymore. It's not about legacy or stats or glory. It's survival. Every week is a job interview. Every mistake is a headline. Every loss is a reason for someone to replace you. You watch other QBs on playoff-bound teams with solid lines, elite weapons, defensive help, and you wonder, what if I had what they had? But football doesn't care about what ifs. It chews up hope and spits out regret. You could have been great. Maybe you still are. But stuck on this team, in this situation, in this endless loop of losses you'll never know. And the world won't remember your name. They'll remember the record. They'll remember the memes. They'll remember the pick six that sealed a 4-13 season. Not the grind. Not the sacrifice. Not the 1,000 quiet moments you gave everything just to give your team a chance. That's the tragedy. You became a quarterback and did everything right. But you ended up the face of a team no one believed in. A target for the media. A cautionary tale for the draft. A placeholder for the next guy. You played the game, but the game played you back. And that's why it sucks to be a quarterback on a losing team. This is StuckFiles.